So I'm going to start doing tutorials on YouTube, and the first one that I wanted to start with is the 3-beat weave. And the reason I want to do this one is because I just learned this trick like 2 weeks ago, and so I feel like all the little things that helped me pick it up are still really fresh in my mind. When I was learning this, I found that there were like no really helpful tutorials on this trick, so I'm going to try my very best to explain it. It's really hard to explain, but I'm going to try to show a lot of slow motion and like at different angles, so you can kind of see what my hands are doing, I guess. But don't get frustrated with it. It's a really tricky move, but once you pick it up, it seems really easy. So if you get really frustrated, don't give up, because right when I thought that I was never going to get it, I got it in like the next 5 minutes, and it was like, why did I not get this before? So a prerequisite for this trick is the chase weave, which looks like this. And another thing that is good to know is how to bring the hoop from one side body to the other and keep it there, because you need to know how to switch the grip on the hoop. So you'll notice when I bring it over to the other side of my body, I just open my hand and let it roll across my thumb. And that's how I'm going to teach how to do the 3-beat weave, because I think that's the easiest way to learn it. Because otherwise the other way to do it is to put your whole hand in, which is kind of like another unnecessary step in my mind. Another thing that I highly recommend is starting with poi. If you don't have poi, I just used these long tube sacks with no balls in them and no sand or anything because it wasn't available at the time. So I just grabbed these long tube sacks and started to try the 3-beat weave that way. Poi are easier to start with because you don't have to worry about switching your grip like you do with hoops. So that's why I highly recommend it. So you can start to kind of get the feel for the 3-beat weave down, and it's easier on the poi. So with the poi, since you don't have to switch your grip, you can focus more on this like winding and unwinding motion that you do with your hands, which is kind of like this. So this is what you're doing with your hands, with the poi and with the hoops. So it's also good to kind of practice this motion a little bit. So you're starting, let's say on your left side, and your right hand is on top of your left, and then you start rotating your arms clockwise, and then you go over, and you do the same thing. This time your left hand is on top of your right, and you're going clockwise again, and then over, and just repeating that, because that is the motion with your arms that you're doing, and it's a lot easier to focus on that arm motion when you're using the poi and you don't have to worry about the switching of the grip as you do with the hoop. Another thing that kind of helped me is to think about like drawing really big circles with your arms. You can see that in this motion. Try that a couple times. Like I said, if you just have tube sacks, that works. I really think that it helps. The next thing I did is I transferred it onto my minis, because using a regular size hoop I found to be challenging because it's so big and the hoops are like clunking together, and so I first tried it with the minis, which I thought helped a lot. I recommend what you start with is to learn how to do this just with one hoop, So you're doing 1 beat on the same side and then 2 beats on the opposite side. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And get used to that motion, because that is essentially what you're doing in the 3-beat weave. Then you can practice with your other hand. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And just keep going like that. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And with your other arm. So you're always opening up on the opposite side. So you do 1 beat on the same side and 2 on the opposite. So when you get the other hoop in there, it'll look like this. So I start by going into a chase weave, and I pay mind to what hoop I'm leading with and which I'm following with. So you can tell the hoop you're leading with because it hits the side first. So in this case, my right hand is leading. Do you see right, left, right, left, right, left? So my right hand, I'm going to bring that hoop onto my left side and then open my hand up to let that hoop do an extra rotation and roll against my thumb. So when I do that, I stall the other hoop and bring it around, and kind of like, you kind of have to slow it down to wait for this one to do the extra rotation. And then you're going to bring it around and do the same on the opposite side. And I always start with the chase weave because for some reason that's so much easier. I don't even know if I know how to go into it without doing the chase weave first. So if you have minis and you feel very comfortable doing the chase weave on the minis, then I suggest moving out to a normal size hoop. It's a little more difficult just because how big they are. But if you make those big wide arm circles, that makes it look a little bit cleaner, especially with the larger hoops. So with these hoops, it might be a bit easier to see which hoop is leading and which hoop is chasing. So right now, the pink hoop in my right hand is the one that is leading. So when the pink hoop in my right hand goes onto my left side body, I'm going to open up my hand to let the hoop do an extra rotation and roll across my thumb. And then I'm going to stall the blue hoop, making it go slower, and go over the pink one. And then do the same thing on the opposite side, letting the blue hoop on my left hand do an extra rotation on my right side body, and then going over that slowly with the pink hoop. And I can show that in slow motion. Now once you kind of have that motion down of opening your hand and letting the hoop do an extra rotation while you have the other one going, I think it's really good to focus on that arm movement after you have the hand gestures down. So we're winding and unwinding, winding, unwinding, winding, unwinding. So your arms are always crossing over each other. So I hope this video was helpful. If you have any comments or feedback or criticisms, feel free to comment. If you have any questions or if you need clarification on anything, also comment and I will get back to you. Subscribe if that's something that you feel like doing, no pressure. I also have an Instagram page. The link is on my YouTube page. I also make hoops and sell them. So the hoops I was using today, these are 31-inch diameter, 3/4 tubing. The minis are 20-inch diameter, 5/8 tubing. So there's also a link to my Etsy page on my YouTube page. So feel free to check that out or just get a hold of me personally because I really like to make custom things made to order special for you. And the poi, of course, are my fabulous tube socks. You can purchase these at your local Walmart. Thank you for watching.